thanks for joining me today. I'm Mindy, and this is the Bountiful Farmhouse. We are in the month of February, and our Puxatawny Phil, is that his name? Puxatawny Phil has indicated that there are 6 more weeks of winter, which makes me pretty sad. But it might push a few dates back for us, maybe some in-ground early spring dates, but we're going to roll with the punches and go with that. I had a question that popped up on our feed about my seed boxes and how I fill out my cards and things. And so I'm going to just try to make that a little more clear if I can. I began with finding my plant dates. So I went from my last frost date to when each seed, and you find that information on the back of each seed packet, like when is the best time to plant it if you're doing indoors to seed them up. And so I found that date, and then my seeds card, there we go, laminating. My seed card, then I just put a title. I put when to plant indoors and when to transplant outdoors, and it looks kind of like this. So this one is my peppers, and it says plant indoors the first week of February or mid-January. And I didn't do mid-January, it was a little too early. And so probably this weekend, I will be planting these up. And then transplanting outdoors says May, but it also has a note around a week before Mother's Day. So here in Bountiful, Utah, you know, it's going to depend on, again, our spring frost dates. Is it still warm enough? Has the soil heated up enough that I can turn it, and all those things. And so then I used these little plastic containers that I got at Michael's. This one is for celery, and same thing, plant indoors February 1st and outdoors around Mother's Day. It's pretty simple for me. This is how I made it work for me. The other thing that's got me thinking about is, why do I plant what I plant? And how have I come upon that, you know, the number and all of that. So there's a lot of information out on the web that you can Google about how much to plant for a family of whatever your number is. And it boils down to, every website boils it down to this system. One is how many in your family are you feeding? So for my family, it's the 2 of us, and then we try to have some food on hand for kids when they come to visit. The second one is, what did your family eat? You don't want to plant things that look really cool in your seed catalog and might be really fun to grow, but if you're not going to eat it, that's kind of waste of space and time and effort and all of that. So plant what you're going to eat. And then 3, you want to take note of how much does each person in your family consume. And then after that, it's, do you want to eat just fresh throughout the season, or do you want to preserve? The first year, I think we just ate fresh because we started late and we just were trying to test the soils and do things that way. But after that, I wanted to preserve. My mom canned everything, and so I want to be like my mom when I grow up. And so I wanted to preserve. And so we plant according to that. Tomatoes, I plant a bunch of tomatoes because we put up tomato sauce and just tomato sauce, tomato paste, spaghetti sauce. We do a lot of salsa, tomato soup. We do a lot of things with tomatoes. And then peppers, the same thing, because that goes into all of those as well. And so I just go off of that formula I just told you. How many are you feeding? What are your likes? How much do you eat? Do you want to eat fresh, or do you want to preserve? And you just go off of that to plant. And that's how I prepared my garden plan that I shared with you last time. And the seeds that I purchased from the catalog is all based on that as well. So while it's been cold and nasty weather, I started my sweet potato slips. That is so easy, and last year I had so many slips. Put them out too late, kind of made some boo-boos. You know, you learn lessons as you go each year. And I was not prepared for what I had. What I did prepare didn't work out so well. So this year I'm starting again, but you just slice your potato in half and stick some toothpicks in it and hang it in a jar full of water. And it takes a long time, so that's why I started them. But probably by maybe end of this month, 1st of March, I will have some slips growing, and then you just pop those off, and we'll do a video on that as well so you can see how that works, and then you just put those in your ground. But those are sitting out in the greenhouse. The onions, I reseeded some of the onions. Not all of them came up, and so I put some more seeds into the cells, hoping that we can get a little more out of that. Onions have been really tricky for me. That's another lesson learned each year. And so if I don't get a lot from what we've seeded, I will try to just do an in-ground and maybe harvest later in the fall, depending on how they do that way too. So it's a journey. So come along with us on this journey and see what happens this year. We're really excited. Again, thank you for joining us. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, please leave those in the comments. We try to get those answered for you. And if you have any lessons to teach as well, throw those in the comments, because we'd love to all learn from each other. So again, thanks for joining us.